Professor. So, today I'm going to be talking to you about the effects of sleep on athletic performance, and that is broken up into three different sections: sleep deprivation, sleep extension, and napping, and how each three of these can either positively or negatively affect an athlete's performance. So, the first effect of sleep on athletic performance is sleep deprivation, and this is a negative outcome of sleep. It's when there's partial sleep deprivation, which is when an athlete is getting fewer than 6 hours of sleep in any 24-hour period. And then there's chronic sleep deprivation, which is fewer than 2 hours of sleep in a 24-hour period. Now, partial sleep deprivation, the negative side effects are not as extreme as what you would originally see coming from chronic sleep deprivation. In partial sleep deprivation, athletes are more able to have stronger cognitive functions. Their strength is still at a high level. Their endurance is still at a high level. It's when you get into the chronic sleep deprivation, which is where athletes are seriously affected and their performance can significantly decrease in areas such as endurance, concentration, attention, perceptual functions, and memory. And not only that, uh, chronic sleep deprivation and partial sleep deprivation in some cases seriously affects the immune system, which increases an athlete's risk of getting sick, and it also makes it harder for the metabolism to work, making it tougher for the body to break down proteins and basically recover from the demands of athletics on our bodies. And I know for myself personally, playing a 3 day basketball tournament, if I would not be able to do that if I weren't getting over 8 hours of sleep a night. And it's tough, especially on the road, which is where you see a lot of professional athletes suffering from partial sleep deprivation because they're on the road. It's an unfamiliar setting. They're studying film, so they don't get as much sleep as they should be to be performing at an elite level. Granted, they're professional athletes. They're still the best at what they do. But an example is J.R. Smith. When he was in New York, each year his numbers were decreasing and decreasing, and he wasn't performing as what everyone thought he could do when he was in Denver. And then when he got traded to Cleveland, he started performing well again. He started performing at an elite level. And some people might argue, oh, he got to play with LeBron James, who's one of the best players in the world. Yes, obviously playing with better athletes and better players makes you better, but he himself said what was the biggest step for him performing well was changing his sleep habits. In New York, the nightlife and the draw of it was taking him out and away from basketball and away from taking care of his body. So he was out frequently at night, staying out late, suffering from partial sleep deprivation, and it wasn't letting him perform to the best of his abilities. Now, to when he went to Cleveland, he started not going out as much, getting the proper amounts of sleep, and he was performing at an elite level again, and it showed throughout the season. His numbers got better and better, and then once they came to the playoffs, he became one of the biggest role players for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, here's a scan of two brains. The one on the left is the brain function of a well-rested person, and on the right is the scan of brain function from a person with extreme sleep deprivation. Now, that is no sleep in a 36-hour period, but that still just shows sort of what sleep deprivation can do to the cognitive functions. On the left, the brain is lit up, it's paying attention, which is very important in athletics, whether it's learning a new play in football, knowing routes for receivers, knowing where to pass, who to block for linemen, and then you can't remember much of that with the activity going there on the right. So it makes it tougher for athletes to be able to perform as what they should if they can't remember anything. Now, a way to cope with this is napping. Obviously, napping won't, a 30-minute nap won't be effective with extreme sleep deprivation, as seen in the last slide, but use of napping can be an effective way to increase energy and performance after a lack of sleep when there's been partial sleep deprivation. Obviously, school, travel, something may be keeping you up so you get fewer than 6 hours of sleep. The use of napping can improve alertness, learning ability, as well as reduce sleepiness and give energy to athletes so they can perform well once again. In a study done on two groups of athletes uh, that each had partial sleep deprivation, one took a 30-minute lunchtime nap and one without a nap. The difference was extremely noticeable. In the group that took the lunchtime nap, there were faster sprint times and greater endurance was posted from that group. The group that didn't take a nap was unable to match the sprint times of the first group. Their endurance was reduced, obviously not as significantly as extreme sleep deprivation, but there was enough there to make it noticeable. And I mean, it's clear for myself personally. I know it's if you're coming in and you have an event late at night, game or practice, it's not until late in the afternoon. Using a 30-minute nap always helps to make me feel better and be more alert and just be more locked in and ready to go whenever it's time to perform. Now, sleep extension, which is probably the best, is increasing the number of hours that an athlete sleeps. This is, if you sleep normally 7 to 8 hours a night, you're increasing that to 9 to 10 hours a night. And in doing this, it can improve endurance, mood, reaction time, memory, and focus, as well as metabolism, immune system, and pain reduction. When there's sleep deprivation, it can seriously affect the pain receptors in the brain, making injuries feel much more painful. And in a study shown on the Stanford basketball team of athletes who are using sleep extension, adding 2 hours of sleep to their daily sleep routine, after 6 weeks, their speed increased 5%, their free throw percentage increased 9%, as well as their overall mood and reflexes. Now, these are both very big statistics, and it makes a huge difference. I mean, a 9% free throw percentage from a free throw shooter who's normally shooting 68%, then is shooting 77%, and all of a sudden the scouting report has changed from foul this guy late to he can hit free throws, we can't foul him. So it can be very beneficial to athletic performance in all aspects. And yeah, so I hope you took away from this as much as I have, and I really look forward to